issues.
How about you? How have you been?
It's somewhat of a
She's,
disaster right now.
Registered
Son-in-law has just been diagnosed with
nurse
cancer.
practitioner or whatever, one that's similar to a doctor.
Yeah, tumor
So
between
she
his
was fed up with
esophagus and
healthcare.
stomach, the size of an orange. So it's taken 2 years to grow. They're doing all the stuff now that would help us deal with it,
Bought a
all the
place
testing
over
and
there.
stuff.
He's in his 40s?
It's a fixer-upper, but if you see pictures of it, it's still like,
Okay.
that would be really nice to have.
Well,
And,
Is she gonna practice there?
she
Graduation last
she
Saturday, which was great.
gained citizenship, which I don't
Past
know.
Saturday.
Portugal?
Yeah, she was able
Able
to
to get
get citizenship.
citizenship. How'd she do that?
oh, Bowden.
I don't know
That's
yet.
a good score.
To be totally blunt.
Yeah, yeah.
On his way to
but
Florida with my
what-
wife right now,
I know early on she
helping him drive to
didn't
Florida.
think she'd be able to
Starts
practice
working
there,
at Tampa
but
Bay
she'd be able to practice virtually.
A good thing
So
too.
through
He's
whatever
a,
company
he'll
is.
be an analyst.
So she can still do stuff, but right now
It's a
she's
long
just
story.
focused
Short-
on
the short version
enjoying
is
things
he's
for
wrote
a
a couple
while.
of papers early.
Yeah, I'm proud of her.
That's
She's-
awesome.
Association of
It's
baseball
really
teams,
interesting
whatever
place.
they
I mean,
call
we
it.
went with a Rhodes Scholar crew trip.
Just
so
interested.
It was
A lot of people
hiking
doing an
and
internship,
there's so much
in a
education.
environmental agency
Lectures every day, and
last
we
summer.
learned about the
because
social,
he got something
the
going.
sociology. I mean, living
5
on
hours.
an island in the middle of the Atlantic,
Yeah.
that's a different vibe. You
It's
know,
a totally
like,
different
You
vibe.
gotta get along with each other.
Yeah.
You know,
Worked for us.
and the way it's governed.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
That's the deal.
it was
Talking
really.
about it.
I mean, it's not a do-over trip.
2 weeks later, you got a call from the New York Yankees. Hey, how'd you like to come to work for us?
You know, on the big island.
Well, he definitely chose Budweiser.
Well,
Very.
my wife said if you ever took that
Were you
job.
Oh,
able
but
to
the
go?
Yankees, no, as a New
Yeah, we
Englander.
went to Fairnass,
You'd be in
which is where
trouble.
it's at. We actually climbed down in low altitude at a volcano,
Yeah, there's a deep rivalry there.
and climbed up on the rim.
Do you have the agenda or do you need a copy? I can put it between us.
Yeah.
There's one in between us.
Maybe I
History's pretty wild.
Well,
let's see.
I don't know if anybody has
Also,
one,
which is where we
so.
went first, is the World Heritage.
Call to order.
It's like frozen in time in 1500.
7 o'clock.
The streets are about this
That's the
wide.
last one.
All of us.
Really.
Yeah. And
Okay, great.
So I can't wait to actually go visit her. But I haven't been
It's
able
not
to do
7 yet.
much
I think it was on my clock.
It was?
in the way of
7 o'clock on the
research
dot.
at this point. So,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I think it's, and that's pretty amazing to move there. The population's dropped. All the young people are leaving.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot, there's not much industry.
Where'd your gavel go?
I don't know. I'm going to call a meeting to order and ask for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'm going to ask you, if you have a cell phone, make sure that you silence it so that it doesn't go off while somebody's trying to do something that's important to them. Roll call?
All right, David Kent,
Yeah.
Stephanie Halter,
President?
Melly Hammond,
Here.
Frederick Kelsey,
Here,
Walter Frankel.
Here.
And we do have our new member, Walter Frankel, was appointed by the Select Board since last meeting, so welcome.
Congrats. Thanks for
Wonderful to have
serving.
you here.
Didn't know I'd get an applause for that.
No, you should applaud yourself.
Celebrate every win.
Let's review the minutes of the previous meeting. Item 5, that is, from what I understand, is going to have an application filed, is that correct? For us, a rehearing?
That is correct. It has not been submitted yet, but they did send a communication stating that they intend to.
Now, based on the statutory time limits, what happens next?
They have until Thursday to file a motion with this board. After such time, this board will have 30 days to hold a meeting, not necessarily hearing, but a meeting to discuss whether to hold a rehearing and either grant or deny the motion for a rehearing. So that will actually, unfortunately, 30 days from this Thursday will be before our next meeting. So we may want to discuss whether
Another
now
time.
or later having a special meeting in between now and then to allow for the board to review that motion, since we have been advised that it is forthcoming.
Why don't we do that under new business later on?
Sounds good.
If you'd bring it back up, I'd appreciate it.
Yes.
Any other issues dealing with the minutes?
I make a motion to accept the meeting minutes as written.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Walter, you can abstain.
I'm abstaining because I wasn't here.
It's 3 to, yep. Minutes are adopted. We have, the first is an application for a public hearing on the special exception application of Nancy Kamai. You're here, Nancy. If you please go over there, that would be good. State your name and where you live for the record.
Yes, hi. Yes, my name is Nancy Comai. We live at 296 Fairgrounds Road, right here in Plymouth.
What is it you want us to do?
Well, as I stated, my name is Nancy Comai. My husband and I own 296 Fairgrounds Road. We are located in an ag zone, and we seek special exception under Article 3, Section 304, to operate a tourist home. We appreciate the board's time and consideration in this matter. My application should clearly demonstrate that the studio apartment meets all required criteria, and there's no adverse impact to the neighborhood. My tourist home is small scale, it's quiet, it's carefully maintained and managed. We limit occupancy to 4 people, allow no pets and no smoking, and prohibit parties and events. Our guests are screened or vetted through Airbnb, and we clearly communicate house rules to ensure safety and low impact as we respect and consider our neighbors at all times. There's no street parking needed. I think you have a picture, some pictures in your packet to show that. The use will not overload the town services, and our home already meets safety requirements, and guest turnover is very low these days due to, I think, market saturation and many other factors. We maintain our own trash removal and recycling. We take very much pride in our high standard of our location. There is commercial activity to the left and to the center of us, and that should be noted. So our goal tonight is to receive this board's approval so we can continue to contribute positively to the community while making responsible use of our property. We respectfully request approval of the special application, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you.
I just have one question to start. Do you reside at the home?
Yes, we do, ma'am. Yes.
That's what I thought.
Any issue with the size of the lot?
0.69. My lot is a 0.69.
Which,
It's a little over a half acre.
which for that zone is
We're an egg zone.
in the ag zone.
Yes, sir.
Right, so it's a substandard lot.
Well, it's Fairgrounds Road, right?
We're right at the Fairgrounds overlay intersection.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was
There's some big lots in there, but there's some small lots too.
Correct.
Right.
There is a variance that was approved for this lot under 1 acre in size in the packet that was granted in 2008, and that does have
That's
some
what I
conditions, and that's included in the packet as well. But that is the reason why that lot was permitted to be under that 1 acre, was due to that receipt of that variance in 2008.
Okay.
The notice of decision should be at the back of that packet.
It is.
You've been operating as Airbnb for how long now?
I've been a host for 8 years through
8 years.
my various homes that I've had. This house we purchased back in 2010, for our children to go through Plymouth State.
Okay.
And we had renters back then. They lived downstairs and we had renters upstairs. Full renters, not Airbnb.
What's the catalyst for applying for this now?
Well, the town for the last 2 years in planning board meetings, I'm sorry, I've never attended a ZBA meeting, but the planning board has tossed around several angst over getting regulated for Airbnb in Plymouth. And so as a homeowner, and I believe, as a responsible homeowner, I need to be compliant. And in order to be compliant, I need to have a special exception from you folks to have my little Airbnb downstairs. I've recently retired, and this little income that comes in is very helpful to pick up the costs of the home and taxes, et cetera. When you originally reviewed the area back in 2008, based on Joseph and Avery sending me that document, there were covenants in place that were for then, that matched then. Today's covenants probably wouldn't have an issue with the 0.69, given that we were trying to have more density on Fairgrounds Road. So, I mean, I'm hopeful that you'll just remove the condition of the residential only on that.
Over the past 8 years, have you had any complaints or major issues at your?
Not for anybody in the area. If you open a hearing, I have one neighbor here. I'm not sure what he's going to say, but
Yeah.
I hope he's positive. It's very cool where Airbnb basically vets your people. They have a review system that is bar none. I don't know if you've ever used Airbnb, but it's a review system on both sides that keep you in check. And we can tell right away if someone's going to try to have an after party after a Pemmy on the bank, Pemmy on the river wedding. Oh, we'll have everybody back to your house. No, we don't allow that.
Questions?
Joseph, this is a substandard lot, although it has a variance. Is that not accurate?
Correct.
Has the planning board done anything about creating a category of zoning for this type of use?
The board has added it to their working agenda or their list of priorities for the year, but has not formally proposed any language at this time other than what's already essentially that there was a slight change a year, maybe 2 years ago, where the tourist home use was switched to permitted by special exception in the agricultural zone, and then the bed and breakfast use is they did a little bit of change to that with respect to permitting it in the Tenny Mountain Overlay District, but there's not been a wholesale update or adoption of regulations.
When I've gone to the meetings of the joint meetings, it's been discussed, I think, for 2 or 3 years that I've attended.
Yeah. Well, our code enforcement officer drafted a warrant article to go before the town, but I think he missed the date.
Okay.
And may I say, it was 4 pages long, and it was the same thing that's already in your packet. For the ordinance already that's been in your packet for quite some time, it just makes people like me owner occupied, and to match the definition of tourist home, which is not a hotel, not a motel, allowed for or not food. You can provide food and or accommodations, for me it's owner occupied. So that coming to you for a special exception would make that end meet. Check that box off.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions by board members?
Are your children graduated or still in PSU?
Graduated and gone.
Congratulations. And you're still here?
We live above the house, at the top of the house, and we really use the house more for family and friends. more so than the Airbnb. And if you really looked at the numbers from past years, it's just declining for how much it is being used for Airbnb.
Good.
Okay, you're good?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Members of the public want to be heard?
Good evening. My name is Scott Robotham. I live in Plymouth, New Hampshire, on Fairgrounds Road, 297 Fairgrounds Road, right across the street from Nancy and her husband. I'm here to vouch for everything that Nancy has just presented to you as far as everything that goes on across the street. We've been in 297 Fairground Road, my family and I, since 1994. So we've seen a lot of happenings over there. But since Nancy and her husband have taken over and purchased the building, it has been very quiet, very peaceful. Even through all the time that she's had the Airbnb going on, there have not been any issues noise-wise or anything like that. So they do keep up their building very nicely. Their downstairs was just totally redone this past year due to a unfortunate accident in their home, but it's been totally redone inside and out, so it should be great. I just wanted to add that for you.
Any questions from the board? Has parking ever been an issue?
Never been an issue. They got a nice big parking area, driveway.
Thank you, sir. Any other member of the public want to be heard on this issue? No? There being no further public members, I'm going to close the public hearing. The board want to discuss this matter?
Sure.
Any comments, questions, issues?
Any,
I wish we had more defined parameters, but
correct.
We don't. Yeah.
No, we
we
don't.
so.
We sure don't.
Okay.
I'm sure we will soon.
Let's go through the criteria.
And now you know. You want to do any findings of fact, David?
Findings of fact.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think for one of the first findings of fact I would note is that it is a substandard lot with .69 acres, and it does have an existing variance for that. That was from, what year was that?
2008.
2008.
And I think the second one I would say is that it's owner occupied.
I would also state that there were no calls in the negative or communications in the negative, and there was a neighbor that spoke in the positive.
The,
I would note that there was no negative comments from the police department, fire department, and water and sewer.
Correct. And thank you for providing that, Joseph. That actually is very helpful in my opinion.
oh, good. We have to state that it's in the agriculture zone.
Yeah, that's a good finding of fact.
Although she did say it's an overlay.
No, it's right at
It's at-
the.
Right outside
That's
the
it.
overlay.
Outside it.
Okay.
And it's a studio apartment that's in the basement that could hold up to 4 people.
And this is a special.
It's been recently remodeled.
Yeah.
Special exception does not go with the owner, does it?
Runs with-
Mumbling.
Sorry. I was just asking if the special exception goes with the deed or if it retains with the owner. Where
Runs with the land.
And it stays with
runs
the
with
land. Because once it is, if it is permitted, then it stays with the property. Anything else? Any other key findings of fact? I didn't really pick up if they're on sewer and water. Are they on sewer and water that far out?
Yes.
Yes, you
Yeah,
are.
they are.
With no big impact.
The Water and Sewer District, my recollection was they did indicate that there was no change in, the district does not require an updated permit for the proposed use of this property.
Right.
May I say there's been a drop in usage since our remodel? And we're leaking.
All right. Let's look at the criteria.
Okay.
Proposed use is allowed in the ordinance by special exception. That's the first criteria, is that
That is true.
true?
True.
True.
Unanimous. Explain how the specific site is appropriate location and adequate size for the use.
It is a smaller lot, but it is an existing building on that smaller lot, and they have adequate parking. So I think it does meet that requirement.
And can we add to the findings of fact that it's been in use for 8 years as such?
Maybe say that a little louder.
Still mumbling?
Sorry.
Add to the finding of facts that it's been in use as such for the past 8 years.
I'm sorry, sir. I've been a host for
Okay, this is not your time, okay?
Sorry,
This is our time. Thank you. All right. I think we have to say that although it's a substandard lot, it will not be a nuisance to the neighbors.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Agreed?
Agreed.
Number 3, okay, let's vote on that one. All in favor of that?
In favor.
Aye.
Unanimous. Explain how the use is developed will not adversely affect the character of the area in which the exposed use is located. I think we should have found that it's a mixed-use area.
Yeah, that would have been a good finding. And there is another, and this is mentioned in the materials for tonight, is there's another Airbnb right down the street at 219 Fairgrounds Road. Right? We approved a special exception for that, for a tourist home last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should also say that the limitation of up to 4 people has been offered by the owner.
Agreed.
It hasn't been a nuisance in the past. All in favor of that finding?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous again. Explain how there be no nuisance or serious hazard to vehicles or pedestrians. We didn't ask whether there's a sidewalk there.
There's not.
I don't believe
There's
there is.
not.
It's just adequate parking, so
It's,
I can't imagine that it's going to create any problems on that road.
I drive by it daily. There's plenty of room. Yes.
Yeah.
Expert advice. Okay. There's adequate parking, no safety problem. All in favor of that finding?
Aye.
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 Aye, unanimous. Use will not place excessive or undue burden on the town services. We've had input from fire and police that there is no demand, excessive demand, and water sewer serves the property. All in favor of that finding?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Explain that there would be no significant effect resulting from such use upon the public health, safety, and general welfare of the neighborhood in which it's located. I think
It's
here's-
mixed use.
Here's where it would be good to state that there's commercial use nearby and there's another Airbnb nearby. So it fits within the character of the neighborhood.
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous again. Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept and grant this special exception.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we grant this special exception. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous amongst the group. Thank you.
Thank you.
And granted.
Thank you.
Now, let's see. We have the variance application by Bruce Wiggett.
My name's Bruce Wiggett. Here for a special exception to have a ADU size larger than 1,000 square feet. You hear me now? Yeah. Right. I'm looking for a special exception for an ADU larger than 1,000 square feet.
I can't hear you, sir.
A little better.
A little louder?
That's better.
Okay, I'll talk louder.
Closer to the microphone.
All right, so I'm looking for a special exception for ADU larger than 1,000 square feet.
Larger than 1,000 square feet.
Larger than 1,000 square feet.
Just a clerical, isn't it, a
This is a
variance?
variance. It's a variance request.
A variance, sorry.
What was the
Variance.
difference?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did not bring notes.
Can you explain?
So I'm building a garage. There's a failing structure that's there. We're going to build a garage that's going to allow us to have housing for myself and my wife to be a little bit closer to my mom, who's at 175 full-time. Well, not full-time. She's there half of the year, but it allows me to be across the driveway instead of at 160 because we have two structures in
You're
town.
mumbling, sir. Please speak up.
First person that's ever told me that I don't talk loud enough. So my mother lives there half the year. I want to be able to provide care for my mother as she's, aging and having the structure need to be replaced. It's a good opportunity for us to build a dwelling above it. And unfortunately, based off of the size of the garage needed, there will be more space above it than would be the 1,000 square feet, which
So the garage has not been built, is that correct?
it has not been built, no.
So
I'm
is there
building
an
the
existing garage?
Yes,
Okay, and it's failing.
and it's failing.
You're going to replace that.
I'm going to
with
replace that with a
bigger
garage that houses all the vehicles that my father left.
And you're going to put in then an ADU above it is what you're hoping to do.
Correct.
That you're going to move into.
Yes.
Okay.
You didn't state in your application, sir, what the size of the place is. You said.
So it's the garage itself will be 50 by 39. And the space above it, I'm unsure because I'm building it, I'm a builder, depending on how much space. I'm roughly 1,600 square feet is what the upstairs should house. It's 2 bedrooms. It's not radically larger than I think we do 1,000 in the town, so it's 600 to 700 square feet more, depending on how much sloped ceilings there are. The height of it isn't going to be higher than what the structure is there now. And the right to build the garage is, I have plenty of space, so I don't have to worry about building the garage. I don't have to worry about having an ADU, because I can do the ADU. What I need is to not have to cut off huge portions of the upstairs just to meet the size requirement of the 1,000 square feet for the town.
And so the garage is going to be the same footprint that you have now?
No,
or
it's going to be a
bigger?
little larger,
It's gonna be a
about
little
20
bigger.
feet, about 20 feet longer
20
than
feet
what's there now. So right now, there's a 2-car garage and a potting shed, and it'll be shorter than those two are combined now. So for the 2 structures that are currently there, there'll be less exposure. It's just going to be
One building.
1 building instead of 2.
Got it.
Sir, the way my math works, sir, if you're roughly 40 by 50, that's 12.
2,000,
It's about 2,000, 2,100 square feet.
But
for
that's
the
downstairs,
That's
not for the
downstairs. That's
ADU.
not for the ADU.
ADU.
The ADU is above that. So when you count the slope of the roof and everything else,
It's a smaller.
it's a
footprint.
smaller footprint that's going to be livable in the upstairs.
I got that.
And the garage will house about 8 vehicles. There's already 8 vehicles on site. It's just in between, under the home that's existing, there's 3 cars in the basement there. The current garage has 3 vehicles, and we have vehicles in various trailers and
How large is the lot, sir?
2 acres, I believe.
It says 1.4.
1.4.
41.
Yep, 1.41.
Yep.
And it's on Highland Street, which,
Just across the street from the red carpet. I'm certainly not
Correct.
going to impact the community anymore
well, I
than what the red
wondered, like,
carpet already
the
does.
size of the other lots adjacent, right?
Large.
Joseph, how long?
Theirs is 1.2. Behind me is actually my uncle's property, and that's 13 acres, which is in current use.
And then across the way, though, is that
Across
other
is
development, right, River Run,
no, across the street,
No, that's
directly
the
across the
big
street
hill.
is the red carpet.
the red
And
carpet.
then just to the left of that is Keel. I don't know what their last name. What's Keel's last name? I don't know. Sorry. He was in my little list that I gave to Joseph. So River Run is actually behind the red carpet in Keel's house, out and behind it.
And this is a single-family residential
Yep.
zoning district, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And the home currently is, would you already look it up, 2,800 square feet? 29? It's already 2,900 square feet.
The current home is 2,900.
Yep. 2805. And it's not, this isn't about, like, I can build the garage. It meets all the, I've already talked to Joseph. I have all the setbacks. I can do that. I can have the ADU by right. You know, it's all about just that size. And I don't want to have to start cutting walls and doing things in the upstairs that, and it's going to be for me. Like,
You understand, sir, that the state mandate is 950 square feet.
well, actually, HB 577 says at least 950 square feet is what HB 577 says.
Says it must be an ADU.
Nope. It just says it should have at least the ability to do 950 square feet.
Okay.
The whole concept from the state was to not have towns limit the size of ADUs. They wanted people to at least be able to build a size. And so they did give the town the rights to limit them, but they wanted at least 950 square feet. Town of Plymouth said 1,000, which is great. Just so happens that the garage that I'm building, I'm not building the garage for the ADU. I'm building the garage because we have 10 cars. Like, I just,
Can I ask one other question?
Certainly.
How many other, you mentioned that there's a lot of other garages in your neighborhood. Are they all 4-car garages?
so Bert Sutcliffe's got like a larger garage than what I'm building, just up the road. Right next to the high school entrance, I forget what his name is. He has a 3 to 4 car garage right there. I mean, there are multiple 4-car garages in the area.
Or it just seems like a lot, that's why I ask.
Yeah, they're within 250 yards, there's 2 other 4-car garages. There's across the street, there's a 3-car garage that's attached to their home. Just below that's the antique shop, and they have a full-size barn
Yeah.
with another 4-car garage and a shed behind it. You know, there's plenty of other spaces, but the ability to build the garage isn't the question. The ability to have the full upstairs and not have to alter footprints to be able to make sure that I meet the 1,000 square feet.
Makes sense.
Where on the property are you planning on doing it? This is a red roof. This is your driveway?
Here's the garage. in the same exact spot. Just extra 20 feet.
Fairly hidden from view anyways,
Yeah.
from the
Very-
street.
Very hidden from view, not, except for my neighbors that are behind me, but from where they're sitting, where they can see the potting shed, they'll have less potting shed, like the whole structure will be less than what they already see from housing structures from their property. And again, like the ability to build the garage is something that I don't need any exceptions to build the garage. What I need is to not build something with too much livable space and then be in violation of the town because there's too much livable space upstairs. Just,
Sir, there's nothing that prevents you from building in conformity with the ordinance, is there?
for what? To
To meet the town's maximum of 1,000 square feet.
there would be nothing upstairs to stop that, no. Like, I could cut walls off but I have the space. I'm not, and it's not gonna change the size of the structure. The size of the structure is the size of the,
I understand.
it's, what it's gonna do is increase the tax roll for the town of Plymouth, like,
I understand that.
you know. So like, for me, like, inside I could stop certain walls and cut them off, but it's not going to stop the size of the structure that's being built.
In some ways, you're doing the reverse of what, like, an ADU. I always think of, like, ADUs as being like in-law apartments, right? And in
it's an
some
in-law-
ways, you're doing, it is, but you're doing the reverse of that, right? Where your parents are staying in the house and.
Yes, and I'm staying,
Yes,
yes.
in the in-law apartment.
And my wife loves me enough to be like, I will move to a house, I just will not move in with your mother. And my mother has said, like, I will live in the garage, but at 80 years old and having had a stroke and being, like, I don't want her to have to walk upstairs. And that was the beauty when my parents had purchased 175, is it's a one-floor home. She can walk freely. There's plenty of space inside. I want her to be able to stay in her home, and she doesn't want someone in her home helping, but having me on property would make a big difference. And I just don't want to build a structure and intentionally be like, oh, geez, there's space for a full room right there, but I have to cut it off because I want to conform to the 1,000. And there's nothing that says in the state, everything that came from HB 577 was, their goal was to increase housing in the state of New Hampshire. Their goal was to increase the construction of ADUs. That's what they want to be able to do. They didn't want towns to limit the type of structures or where they were and how the doors were, all of those things. They removed those restrictions. They said at least 950 square feet, and the town chose 1,000. If I was building just an ADU that was 1,600 square feet, I could agree that that might be, inappropriate. But I'm building a garage for the number of vehicles that we have, and like, I just don't want to get rid of the cars that my dad had. Like, that's just something I just don't.
Any other questions by board members?
So as I understand it, you're asking for this variance because basically the space is going to be there.
The space is going to be there. Yeah.
So could you give us a compelling reason why we should give a variance beyond what the town has already mandated, which is a maximum of 1,000 square feet?
I mean, right, like, so the town can increase its taxable income. Like, we're not trying to, I just don't want to have to cut off sections of an upstairs just to cut off the sections of upstairs. When it does nothing, it hurts nothing in the town of Plymouth.
So in some sense, you're saying that you're arguing that you think it's reasonable.
I think it's reasonable. And it's not one that's impacting anything in the town of Plymouth. It's not hurting the town of Plymouth.
The building is going to be
The
there.
building is going to be there, and the town just approved 1,600 square feet on 2 separate ADUs on the same lot in the town of Plymouth. So someone already has more than 1,000 square feet of ADU
We
in the
did?
town.
We
Well,
approved it?
no, it actually went through, it wasn't you, it was the planning board.
Yeah, that's different.
But it's still the square footage number is still applicable. Like, they have over 1,000 square feet of, accessory dwelling. And all I'm asking is, in the single structure, which can already be built, is to be able to have an extra, 600 square feet with inside it to not have to wall off and.
All set? I don't have any more questions.
Anybody?
Okay, thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
sir. Any members of the public want to be heard on this issue? No stampede to the microphone.
Joseph, did we receive any other written support or opposition?
No, written communications received on this.
No interest, I'm closing the public hearing then. This is, we're not a rezoning board. That's the problem here. The town set a standard. And it's a mandatory standard where it says shall not exceed. I mean, logic tells us that, well, the building's gonna be there anyway. What do we care what it's used for? Well, that's for us to talk about.
Joseph, can you give us some history of where the 1,000-foot limit came from?
So, when going back a number of years, the state of New Hampshire passed a law that says towns must, in some way, allow for accessory dwelling units. Now, at that time, I think it was the 2016, the original ADU law, that allowed towns to impose a specific list of requirements on those ADUs. That could include special exceptions, that could include square footage limitations, other standards. And then more recently, maybe, I think it was a year ago that the bill that Bruce referenced passed, which rolled back the number of restrictions that towns could place on the development of ADUs, making them basically allowed by right, but still saying there was an ability to impose a size limitation. So when the town back in 2016 first was, or might have been a year or so after that the town was actually passing the zoning, the town was looking at those list of things that towns were allowed to regulate about ADUs, and that's when that was adopted. So it was one of those that was adopted by the town as a part of the original effort to comply with the state ADU law. So it's been on the books since that time.
My reading is that if the town didn't have that provision, then the state law would apply.
And the state law would allow.
Pardon me?
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the state law would allow.
That's right. But the town did legislate and does have a standard.
And limited the number. Can you tell us a little bit about the planning board cases?
Yeah, so the planning board reviewed what's called a residential co-location development. So that's a relatively new provision of the zoning ordinance that allows the planning board to approve by conditional use permit multiple single or two-family dwellings on a lot. So the case I think that was being referenced was a situation where a property owner owned a lot that had an existing two-family dwelling and desired to put two additional single-family dwellings on it. And so they prepared a conditional use permit plan for the planning board, which was approved maybe 2 months ago by the planning board on Warren Street. So right in the village where there is an existing developed lot. So that was using a different mechanism of the zoning ordinance, which allows for residential co-location by conditional use permit. So similar in some ways in that you're getting additional dwellings on the same lot, but a different provision.
Why wouldn't that work here?
I'm not sure it wouldn't.
Oh, it's a private hearing at this point, right?
I'm not
Isn't the
sure if
public
there's any
section.
reason why it wouldn't work. From a zoning perspective, you could have You know, it provided this met the criteria that the planning board imposes for conditional use permits for multiple residential. So there is a list of like 7 criteria that those have to meet, but provided it could meet those, one could propose a multiple.
With the 2016 limitation of 1,000, was that a town vote or was that a municipal?
So the state law placed some restrictions on what size you could limit it to, but the town did adopt that provision into the zoning at town meeting.
By way of a vote?
Yeah, so the town adopted that through town meeting to comply with the state law, but the town did adopt it locally as well.
By recommendation of the planning board, right?
Correct.
Right, and the planning board, through other mechanisms though, has been allowing ADUs. They're a little larger.
Yeah,
Right,
through this
so-
other alternative process
Right.
that's, you know, in that case, technically they're additional they'd be additional single-family dwellings as
On
opposed
one
to an
lot.
accessory.
Correct,
But-
okay.
Correct.
I mean, if the planning board is allowing larger structures than what the town has mandated, you know, how are we?
It's a different statute, though.
It is.
I get it, but I mean, I mean, things are happening in the town, you know, that, you know, I don't understand how they wouldn't have gone through the zoning board, right? Well, when you start with the zoning board, then go to the planning board? I guess I don't understand the process yet, but.
We're here for when things don't match the zoning ordinance, and you want something that varies from the ordinance that's been passed by the town, you come here and we see if these criteria have been met. The planning board has a totally different system. They are not a quasi judicial board. They are a function to promote development, actually, and we aren't. We are not that. Any further comments? Findings of fact?
Sure. It's a 1.41 acre lot in the single-family residential zoning district, but that does meet at the boundary with the agricultural and the industrial commercial development zones. It is currently a single-family home. They're proposing to and going to replace the garage and would like to put an accessory dwelling unit above the garage that's a little bit larger than what's allowed by town statute, right?
I don't agree with the word little. It's double.
600, not quite double. I say more substantially, 2/3 bigger than what's allowed.
Where did you come up with the 1,600?
He said 1,600 square feet.
Because the livable space, the exterior on the bottom will be approximately 2,000 square feet. But once you get upstairs between
Walls.
the dormers
Slope
or
of
whatever,
that, yeah.
Said 1,600.
3, whatever those are called, and then is it the dormers? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's gonna reduce the livable space to approximately 16.
Okay. I'll go along with 1,600.
That's what was proposed, right? And we'll just leave it at bigger instead of a little bit bigger.
I think we should cite the standard.
The standard being 1,000 square feet, is that what you mean?
No, it's in section 1, a definition, under the zoning ordinance provision. Item F, excuse me. The ADU shall not exceed 1,000 square feet in habitable floor area.
I'd like to find that the footprint of the proposed garage, which is allowable by all regulations, would not be affected regardless of our outcome.
I think we ought to make it clear that the building has not been constructed at this point.
And also, one other thing I would like to find that to conform to the regulations, the livable space will need to be reduced outside of the limitations of the building.
You'll have to explain that further.
So, he's building this. He's basically gonna need to build a wall right here to cut off 1,500 square feet.
16 or 600.
Over 600, yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
and make dormant space to conform.
Correct.
I agree with that.
That's a good finding of fact. Any other findings of fact?
I think the intent is that the family is going to live in there.
Yes.
To care for an older parent.
Give up their house for an older parent.
Yeah. We didn't have any positive or negative impact from anybody in the community.
No one spoke in favor or against. No one wrote us any information in favor or against.
Could you read those findings back?
This is a 1.41 acre lot in the single-family residential zoning district near the boundary of the agricultural and ICD zoning districts. This is a single-family home. The proposal would replace a garage with an accessory dwelling unit above a garage, which is allowed. A garage, the ADU is larger than what's currently allowed.
What's the frontage on this property? Do you know?
I do have that. The frontage is about 270 feet approximately, according to the tax maps.
Right. Okay.
So number 4, this section F of the accessory dwelling unit requirements limits accessory dwelling units to 1,000 square feet. Number 5, the footprint of the garage is allowable and would not be affected by the outcome of this variance. The garage is not constructed at this point. To conform to the applicable regulations, the livable space would need to be reduced, though the living area would not need to be changed. Number 8, the intent is for family to live in the ADU, care for an older parent. And then number 9, no speakers or letters were received either in favor of or in opposition to the application.
And also add that with comments from the police fire department, there were no issues, and that they would have to, we do need to have a new application for sewer.
I have a question, Joseph. So it says that the ADU shall not include more than 2 bedrooms, right? And the applicant has proposed 2 bedrooms. Do you know what the average size home is for a home with 2 bedrooms?
I don't know, I apologize.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I figured you might know that.
Yeah.
I just wondered if is it under 1,000, or is it 1,000 square feet, or is that atypical? Like for 1,000 square feet, is that small for a 2-bedroom home? Because, you make a good argument in the zoning section where the purpose and the intent, there's a growing need for more diverse, affordable housing. Demographic trends are producing more households where adult children wish to give care to support for elderly parents in these semi-independent living arrangements. And then we need more independent living spaces right, for elderly people and their caregivers to live near them, right? So I hear that. I just wonder if the 1,000 square feet is adequate for a 2-bedroom home.
Yeah, I apologize. I don't know. I mean, there are a number of 2-bedroom homes of all different sizes in town that I'm familiar with, but I don't actually know sort of where that average point is.
There are many 1,000 square foot.
2-bedroom homes, yeah.
They're
I
very
think that's small. That's a
Would be.
really small.
That's a small house. I mean, my house is 1,000 square feet, and the, I mean,
It's small.
the 2 bedrooms are small,
I've lived
right?
in
So, I
it.
mean, that's a small 2-bedroom house. I just wanted to make a comment that, I think that the newest zoning regulation in the, residential area is, they're 1/4 acre lots, right? They went from half-acre zoning with 100-foot frontage down to 1/4 acre and 75-foot zoning. So technically, with 200 feet of frontage, this is a pretty big property. I mean, it's got, it could be 2 lots. Could be 2 separate homes. It's not like a 1/4 acre property trying to put another 2,000, square feet of living space in,
That is correct. The zoning, single-family residential zoning has a minimum lot size now of 10,000 square feet and 75 feet frontage, so approximately a 1/4 acre, 75 feet, but that is correct.
It's a good point.
Would it be another finding for that in the recent year that other ADUs of larger size have been granted, although through separate avenue? Is that?
That's true. Through the planning board.
I'd like to find a finding of fact that the planning board in the past year has allowed 2 structures that exceed the 1,000 limit.
Well, they're not technically ADUs though, right?
I thought
It was
they
on
were.
were they?
It was a residential co-location, so technically under residential, it's a little bit of an arcane difference, but yeah, a residential co-location is actually multiple single or 2 families, so this is actually, that would be a conditional use permit for multiple principal structures as opposed to a principal and accessory.
But the
So
one
that
that
would not
they,
be accurate,
the one
then.
that they approved wasn't for those 2 one-family other buildings on the property that were 1,600 feet weren't ADUs,
Correct, they
Right,
were
they-
additional,
additional
Co-location.
co-location homes, right? So I think technically it wasn't an ADU. Right. So, it's a little bit of a tricky, it's a tricky application, I think, given the law.
Problematic.
Yeah.
You all done with the discussion? Okay, let's go down through the criteria then. The variance is requested from Article from the definitions, actually. Provision, Section 2 of the definitions. Item F. To allow an increased size of an ADU. Where the ordinance states maximum size of 1,000 square feet. The applicant seeks an ADU of approximately 1,600 square feet. Is that a fair statement?
Say it one more time, please. Could you say it one more time?
You can read it back.
Sure. Could you read it back, Joseph?
This is a variance from the definition of an accessory dwelling unit to allow from, so I suppose, and ADU requirement F to allow an increase in the size of an accessory dwelling unit where the ordinance states the maximum size of 1,000 square feet and the applicant seeks an accessory dwelling unit of approximately 1,600 square feet.
Yeah. That's good. Thank you. Sorry.
So the facts supporting the variance, the granting of the variance would not be contrary to the public interest because.
Well, I would think we'd want people to be able to stay in their homes as long as they can and get the support that they need.
I can find my criteria.
Back page of
The back page
of the overview.
of the overview.
Got it.
No, different packet. Yeah. For the actual application.
Thanks, Malik. You're talented. Are you talking about this?
Yeah.
There we go, okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
It will not be contrary to the public interest. How do you feel about that?
Mm.
I agree.
You agree that,
I don't believe it will be contrary to the public interest, no. If you'd like me to go through all the reasons, I can, but that, I don't believe it will be in the public, contrary to the public interest.
You gotta speak into the mic and speak louder.
I do not believe that it will be contrary to the public interest. Due to the building itself, due to the stated use, the reasoning of having to reduce the size of the livable space, et cetera. I don't think the water will be switched over. The fire and the police have no issues. So from the public interest, I don't see that it would be an issue for that.
any thoughts, Fred?
For the public interest, given the state law and so forth, I agree with Malik, that this is in the interest of the public interest. We get to number 2, that's different. So I would agree with that statement. I would agree with that statement that this is in the public interest as stated by the state.
I concur.
I mean, I do not believe it would be a violation of public interest to allow this.
All right. Finding is made. It will not be in the violation of the public interest. Second criteria, the spirit of the ordinance will be observed.
Mm.
No.
What do we think the spirit of the ordinance means, really?
Well, my view is that the spirit of the ordinance says shall not exceed.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear.
I agree with that statement, that here we have an ordinance that was passed by this town in a town meeting, and that's what the ordinance says. And so, I mean, it may appear bureaucratic, but that's the law that this town had decided, and I think that it's pretty clear.
Just to correct possibly what you said, that this was, the 1,000 square feet was done at a town meeting, or that was?
That's in the town ordinance.
Town ordinance, I understand.
It's voted on by the town when they go, right,
Right,
with all
but-
the warrant articles and
Right,
they
but
vote on.
I mean, the ordinance was done by the planning board, no?
It's presented by the planning board and voted on by the town and becomes part of the part of this.
All right, so the town voted for the 1,000
Yes.
square feet?
Yeah.
The town in general, okay.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I mean, the town vote is the one issue. I wish I had been at that meeting and could understand the reasoning and how it was presented and the reasoning why. But I agree that it is not within the spirit of the town ordinance as it stands currently.
As it currently stands. You know, maybe the town ordinance needs to be updated. And then I know the town isn't always updating all their ordinances as needed, but
Agreed.
Well, there's no question that's within the spirit of the ordinance. The ordinance probably ought not be what it is.
Correct.
We are not a rezoning board.
we are not,
We don't change what the people say are the rules.
right? We just
Agreed.
legislate on the rules. Or not legislate, but
Call for a vote on that issue? Opposed to the
I'll
spirit of the
opposed to the spirit as I.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's a failure on that criteria. The grant of the ordinance would do
Variance.
substantial justice.
I
Agreed.
agree that it would. I do think that the logic here is that they're building a certain size garage, and it makes sense to put a 1,600 square foot home, which I think is reasonable, that size, 2-bedroom
Agreed.
home above the garage.
Agreed.
Agreed?
Yeah.
That's unanimous. This criteria is met. Number 4, the granting of the variance would not diminish the value of surrounding properties.
Agreed.
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 I think it may enhance the value of the surrounding properties, okay. That's found. Literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in unnecessary hardship, meaning that owing to the special conditions of the property that distinguish from other properties in the area, the proposed use is reasonable and no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance provision and the specific application to the property.
I do think denial of the variance would result in unnecessary hardship in this case.
I actually agree with
Yeah, I
that.
think that because they are going to be building this garage, it doesn't make sense to not allow them to build and use all the space that they're paying for. And I think it's reasonable.
What she said.
Samesies.
Same seas.
I agree.
I don't agree. He can meet the ordinance, the provisions of the ordinance.
He can't, and the building doesn't exist yet. I mean, we're talking about property that already exists, and it's, when I'm reading, or if they're not established, that would be only if special conditions of property to distinguish, that doesn't exist. So, I have to say that, yes, it is a reasonable use, it is reasonable use, but it flies in the face of criteria that the town established.
Well, we're not changing the use. This is not a use application.
No, it's not, this isn't use at all, it's,
If we, and I don't, my view is, we don't have a right to judge why the town put in
No.
a regulation that perhaps we disagree with, but it is a regulation.
I agree. I just don't know that it comes up in this one.
It does in the second part, Part B.
Part B, when it says the proposed use is reasonable one. Where are you getting part B?
We're not changing the use. We're changing no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance, whatever they are, and the specific application to the property.
I see. I do think the proposed use is reasonable. That's
We're we're not changing the use. We're not asked to change the use.
I see two, it's on my form list, so.
We get, from time to time, we get applications for a use change. Somebody wants to do something where the use of the property is not allowed. That's not the case here. This use is allowed, absolutely. But the second part is, there's gonna be a relationship between what the policy is and what he's going to do with the property.
So do we all vote on that one?
Could, just, David, just,
Or,
when you say, no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance and the specific application, that's, what exact, I mean, it just,
yeah, this comes, we used to have just one that said, it's just a hardship.
yeah,
And now
Yeah.
they've further defined what a hardship is, and they've given you three different
yeah.
views of what a hardship is.
C does not apply.
See, I kind of think C does apply.
Oh, so,
C does apply. It can be used in conformity with the ordinance. Where we have cases where that is perhaps as a hill or something, which prevents you from meeting a setback, like we had with the wall situation, or something prevents you from using the property the way the ordinance would allow. I guess my argument simply is, there's nothing that prevents the property from being used in conformity with the ordinance. And we don't write the ordinance.
we sure don't. It is reasonable, though. I would say that.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to vote on this one.
Well,
So everybody looking at me? Oh. Let's do it.
Okay, let's call for a vote on,
which one?
well, 5. Little enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in unnecessary hardship. What criteria?
Yeah. I still think it does.
I'm gonna say no.
I believe it does.
Disagree.
I know. It's, this is why we have 5 people.
Say no.
What's that? Oh, no, I say it does. I believe it does.
I don't think it does.
Okay.
It's okay.
It's up to me.
No pressure, Walter.
Well, I mean, no, if I have to go with the literal, you know, the definition of what this is saying, there technically isn't a hardship. However, you know, I mean, they could go about this differently and get it done, right? They could, you know, so basically we would force them into, you know,
Doing it another way.
subdividing the lots and building a new house, right, which is called a garage, right?
Well,
Right?
You don't have to subdivide.
Or, Or, you know, he could go through
That's
the,
that's a misstatement.
You don't have to
You
subdivide
have to
it.
subdivide.
okay, I was saying, there's other ways to get this done,
That's correct.
right?
Correct.
And, you know, I don't think it's gonna hurt the area. I mean, it's not illegal, this is not a legal thing. I think the guy should be given the ability to do that, you know?
Correct.
Granted, I don't like the 1,000 square foot thing, okay, so I'm against that, but I'm not here to say, you know.
We didn't make the
If I
ordinance.
have to say that number five would be a no for me, because it's basically, you know, there's no hardship, but the guy could do this other ways,
Really.
right?
So that's
I don't-
why you think that there's no hardship,
Doesn't
is because he
pass.
could do it otherwise.
Okay.
It's good logic. It's good logic. I like hearing how people get to the,
Sorry, I didn't mean to call you guy.
I want to make,
What's that?
Mr. Wigan, Mr. Wiggett.
someone want to make a motion? We've had 5 criteria, 2 have failed.
two felt. So I'll make a motion to deny the application for the variance at 175 Highland Street, the Wiggett residence. Sorry, folks.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to deny the variance. All in favor of the motion as made, say aye.
All right.
It was a 9-year-old. They put that law in place before the state gave people unlimited time. The town put that in to try to get away from being able to do that.
But they have the right to do it. The town does.
But that same law says it's up to the town.
I can build a garage and I can build a new.
You don't have the right to change the ordinance.
That's just not to engage.
Well,
This is not the rezoning board.
No, unfortunately, we're not.
that's the
I
misconception.
hear the challenges, though, you know, I get
All right,
what people
application
are trying to do.
by Barbara Lopez Mayhew.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you,
I
Barbara.
can't even shout like my classroom voice. I'm here to, well, I've applied for zoning board to accept or to approve a special exception of a space that I have in my residential home at 280 Old Hebron Road. It is 968 square feet. It's on the ground floor. And to permit it as a tourist home, it was permitted under the previous ordinance for the agricultural zone as a short-term dwelling. And so now that we have the new title of tourist home, I have to apply. The previous owners had built the home and also had the Airbnb prior to my buying it in 2021. Previous to that, I served as a co-host with the woman Pamela Martin. It was Peter and Pam Martin. My property is on 19.76 acres. I moved in August of 2021. I lived on Old Hebron Road prior to that time that I moved into this residence since '87. And I just moved up the road, and then my sons live in my old residence. So the idea is that I wanted to continue with the Airbnb after I experienced it as a co-host with the owner, and then I moved in, and then I took it over under my own account. So I have been operating, but minimally, since this ordinance has been happening, because I didn't want to be deemed non-compliant. And also because of the state of affairs of the US and people are not traveling as much and because of gas prices, et cetera. So the number of guests that I have that are even traveling, it's not happening. So 2022 was my first year as an Airbnb host. In my application, I provided you with all the photos. I think you're aware of the area of where it's at. It's closer to Bell Road. It's pretty private. I have a neighbor here who has said that he would come and speak to it. He abuts me directly on one side. And when I moved in, also, I used the land for a business. It's Stillwater Ranch. I have a lavender farm. And I started that when I first moved in as well. The Airbnb operates under my own private ID, my own number, and then the Stillwater Ranch farm operates and is listed and is approved and has a license with the state. So I provided all the other information in all those little areas for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You won't be living there, is that correct?
I do live in it.
You'll be living there.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Owner occupied.
Yes.
And you're not on town water?
Yeah. Septic.
Away from town water.
Yeah.
No sewer.
And so the suite has been an Airbnb rental before, but you haven't been using this as an Airbnb?
No, I
But
have
you-
been.
Oh, you have been, okay.
Yeah, so by the previous owners, and I'm not aware of, or I don't know how many years they've been doing that, so that when they were going to buy it, I mean, when they were putting up the property for sale, then I had spoken to them, and when I signed a P&S agreement to buy it, I had to wait a year. So I co-hosted as an Airbnb. They usually went to Florida during the winter time and in the spring. And so then they had a tenant at that current time, but then they thought that the tenant would oversee the Airbnb. But because I had a P&S agreement, they wanted me to experience what it would be like, and if I decided to continue as a host for Airbnb, to be a co-host with her.
I see.
People enjoy being that far in the country?
That far in what country?
He's just saying you're pretty rural, right?
Yeah. In fact, at one point when I first moved out there, because I lived on Langdon Street, right? But when I first moved out on Old Hebron Road and my children were young, a couple of people had referred to it as the boonies.
The boonies.
But now it's a popular area. There is a hiking trail down at the base where the creek is, by where the big boulder is. And with COVID, I guess it extended to our southern states to come up and decided that they were going to hike all those trails. And so the population on our road has increased since I moved in '87. So the houses have increased, not a lot. And then a lot of people have discovered that the back road, right, is a great place to go, but, well, not so much with bicycles because it's on a steep hill, so, but a lot of walkers, let's see what else, and then the hikers that go on both ends of the road. So there is a lot more traffic. A lot of people use that back road as well as a shortcut to Texas Hill.
I guess we're gonna have to make a finding. Is there sufficient room for people to walk on the road and not get run over?
Well, on the state of the road right now, I have to tell my guests to be careful of not falling into the ditches on the side and the ledge that is exposed now on our dirt road. But that's not really under my control. It's the town's Department of Highways, right? Yeah.
Any questions from the board members? I don't.
And I hope you had the opportunity to look at the Airbnb link, because it gives further information, and I provided you photos and I numbered them, because when I copied them, they kind of were not sequential.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Any members of the public wish to speak?
Hi, Eric Norton. I'm her neighbor to the north, 308 Old Hebron Road. I've been there 7 years. You would never know. She has an Airbnb, super quiet, and you know, I have 29 acres, and you know, it's just a very rural area. It's great.
Thank you.
Any questions for him? Any other member of the public wish to speak?
Hi, my name's Rich Ministry. I'm a frequent visitor up here and help on the Stillwater Ranch Farm. A lot of the Airbnb people have come out to see what we're doing. They love the area. We let them walk through the fields, experience and look at the flowers. They walk around, and we direct them to all the tourist areas downtown and throughout the area. So everybody comes there really loves it. Even though I'm digging ditches or I say I'll be quiet, they say no. We want to see what you do. A lot of people come from the city. We've had people from the Netherlands there, Germany, Belgium. So it is what I've noticed over the last few years is traffic is increased a bit, but it's really not that bad. We walk the road, and there's not a problem. So, and there's plenty of parking for the Airbnb, and usually it's just one car that I've seen that comes in there. Thank you.
Any questions by the board? Nope. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. I'm going to close the public hearing.
I think I'd make a finding of fact that this special exception is allowable under the current zoning ordinance.
There are no police or fire concerns?
There were neighbors that spoke positively for the applicant.
Property's owner occupied. 960 square feet allocated to the
Roughly 20-acre lot.
That it has been used as an Airbnb for multiple years at this point.
And it's owner occupied.
Let's go through the criteria there. Ordinance is allowed the ordinance by special exception. Agree?
Agreed?
Agreed?
Agreed.
Unanimous. The specific site is appropriate location and of adequate size for the use. Agreed?
Agree?
Agreed.
Agreed. You can't do it on 19 acres, you have a problem. The use as developed will not adversely affect the character of the area in which it's located.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Unanimous. There'll be no nuisance or serious hazard of vehicles or pedestrians.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Unanimous. Use will not place excessive burden on the town.
Agreed.
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 Unanimous. There be no significant effect resulting from such use upon the public health, safety, and general welfare of the neighborhood in which the use would be located.
Agreed.
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 Make a motion to approve the application for special exception.
Second it.
Moved and seconded to approve the application. All in favor, say aye.
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 It's unanimous. The application is approved. No,
No,
that runs with the land act.
unless the ordinance gets changed,
That
yeah.
attaches to the property.
Yeah, but that stays with the property. You're welcome. We better hurry up and get some ordinances, or we're gonna see more and more of these applications.
Yep.
That was my first thought when I saw the packet. Just like, oh, great.
You can tell what the planning board's been talking about. People are nervous.
A couple of things. I've been told that there is not a joint session this Thursday
Okay,
with the planning board.
that's good to know. Thank you.
It may happen in the future, but it's not happening this Thursday.
Okay. I'll put myself back on the pickleball list.
Second
I'll tick
issue,
myself off.
you've recommended, Joseph, that we establish another date for a hearing.
Yeah, that's correct. Unfortunately, the way that the dates of the meetings have fallen, 30 days from our last meeting is this Thursday. One of the applicants who was at that meeting did indicate that they intend to submit a request for the board to grant a rehearing. And by state RSA, they do have 30 days to do that. And then once they've submitted that, the board has 30 days to make a decision on whether or not to grant a rehearing. So if the board decides to grant a rehearing, then you can schedule that rehearing for a future meeting date and send out notice and everything like that. So the motion that would be submitted would be specifically whether or not to grant a rehearing, not necessarily a redecision on the application. And so all that is to say, 30 days from Thursday, if it's received Thursday, which is the last possible date that they would be able to submit it, that would be July 4th. And our next zoning board meeting is July 7th. Even with the holiday, that would just bump it forward to Monday, July 6th. Because you can, when there's a holiday or weekend intervening, you can bump it out to the next business day, but that would put us on Monday. And then our next zoning board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, the 7th, so we just miss it by a day.
But if we held a special meeting between now and our next meeting, we could deal with it at our next regular meeting.
Correct. Yep, as long as we have enough time to renotice the public hearing for that meeting, because it would need to be renoticed as a new hearing, but that's, yep, absolutely.
Could we meet again in 2 weeks?
Well, get out your calendars. If
I
you-
got it.
So there's no, we don't have to have a public meeting to decide. This is, just would be a meeting just amongst the.
Can it be
To
a
decide if we have-
Teams meeting?
It does have to be in person.
It does have to be in person.
Yeah, and it would have to be noticed, and minutes and everything would
They
have
have
to be.
to appear, or do we just,
They do not have to appear, and it would be totally up to the board's discretion if any testimony at all is allowed, even from the applicant or the public or anyone, because,
Do we have to make that decision ahead of time, or?
no, the board can make that decision at the
At the
time
hearing.
of. But really, the board would be looking at strictly what is presented in the motion and whether the
Okay.
board feels there's compelling reason to grant a new hearing, and then if the board does, then you can take all new testimony from the public, abutters.
so if we decided tonight to have a special meeting,
Mhm.
and tomorrow or Monday, you sent out
Mhm.
notices, whenever,
Yep.
what's the earliest date at which we could have a meeting?
Well, if they submit it by Thursday of this week, which is their last day, we could put out notices. It's only something like 48 hours in advance, so we could schedule even for next week if you wanted to. Just because it's a public meeting, and the public would have to attend, but we wouldn't have to put out public notices a certain time frame in advance. So if we receive it
We have water and sewer next week, but
It could be next
we
week.
could do it after.
I have to be in town on the 16th. Does that?
Yeah, the 16th was my ideal date. Oh, you are. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
What about the 9th? Are you here next week?
Can Fred appear by Zoom?
One or two members could appear via Zoom. You just need a quorum in person.
I'm gonna be
Happy camping. You're in a remote area.
I got a generator that
No
I
Wi-Fi.
do with the radio waves.
I don't know. I don't know if there's Wi-Fi at this campground or not. It's not.
Could also
kind of-
be another day other than a Tuesday if there's one that works. for
Oh,
you.
it's,
23rd?
I think we're like getting into.
I might be gone
Yeah,
by
the
that
kids are
point.
out of school. Is there any way that we could do it
23rd, I'll
before?
be in Connecticut. This
Well, we
is
can
like-
Well, and how about,
Well,
it
like-
doesn't need to be on a Tuesday, right?
What if we did it next week, like, but not Tuesday next week, like maybe Thursday, the 11th?
The 11th? I could do the 11th.
I can do the 11th.
I believe I can do the 11th.
Let's pencil it in.
There is an Energy Commission meeting at 6, so
Yeah.
would you like to schedule that for 7 and hope that we can do it after the Energy Commission, or perhaps see if we can do it across the hall, or we could do it at 5 and try to get in before Energy?
Why don't,
It's up to you guys.
will you have time to notice a meeting if we're going to hold it on the 11th?
We would, yep.
All right? I'd like a motion, please.
Make a motion that if the appeal is made in time by this Thursday, June 4th, that we schedule a special meeting of the zoning board at June 11th. Did we figure out your time?
I don't care.
At 6?
7.
7.
7.
It's either 5 or 7.
7.
Have a second?
Second?
Moved and seconded to hold a special meeting on June 11th. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, it's unanimous. If you don't get the application,
We don't have to meet.
we don't have to meet.
Sounds good.
Love
Yep.
it.
I will send that out as soon as I receive it, and then if the board does decide to grant a rehearing at that time, then we would proceed to renotice abutters, and we would be able to notice that for the July 7th ZBA meeting.
Sir, have you got business before the meeting?
My name is John Nelson. I live at 815 Tenny Mountain Highway. And I was here to hear about what you people are talking about right now with the gas propane tanks that are supposed to go across the street from us.
Okay,
And I don't want to miss anything, and I would.
we don't
also-
either.
And we also want to rally the troops, the abutters and stuff. We've gone around with different abutters.
You understand what's happened here?
I understand about the appeal. They say they're going to appeal, but they're not going. They
There are
haven't.
steps to an appeal, and one of the steps is to ask the board to rehear the matter.
Mhm.
Now, usually that's only if we've misapplied the law or we've misapprehended the facts in the case. So that's going to, if they do in fact ask us to hold a rehearing, it's going to happen on that June date. If they don't file in time, they've lost their remedy in this matter, and it's finished.
It's done with
It's done with.
forever?
We won't know that till Thursday, is that right?
Yeah, but I mean, if they don't file the appeal,
This is a
we
dead
can
issue.
sleep really good?
Yep.
Okay.
They've lost their right to go to the Superior Court, too, have they not?
Correct, that's my understanding, is
Yes.
that you must first appeal to the zoning board. I mean,
First.
for a rehearing first, before you can go to the Superior Court.
Right.
Yeah.
So it all hinges on that, but assuming that they meant what they said, they'll file an appeal here, and we'll hold the hearing on that date. So if you want to have people come because they have information, or they simply want to hear what's going to happen, it'll be at 7 o'clock on the 11th.
Okay, now, did you also say that the planning board is not meeting this week?
You decide
Grant
to
them our hearing.
rehear.
I don't know about the
The
planning board.
planning board,
We were going to have a joint meeting with the planning board, but that's not happening.
And that's not related to.
That's not related.
That's not related
To your
to.
I get a
application.
little mixed up between
That
what to
application.
talk about at which meeting. It's like,
I know, I'm sorry. It's very
All the
confusing.
people that stomped out of here don't understand the difference either, from my opinion, but
Okay.
that's just my opinion.
because we've gone
It's hard.
and gathered a lot more information from the first meeting. We weren't able to attend the first meeting of the zoning board. We we were away.
You'll see, did you get the minutes of our meeting?
Yes, I watched it on
TV.
TV.
Good.
Well, Joseph wrote up a very nice set of minutes.
Uh-huh.
Gotta give Avery the credit for that one. Avery wrote the minutes, so.
Avery's been doing a great job with the minutes.
So
Good minute writer.
Is
we
Avery the
just
one?
didn't want to miss any.
She
I
is.
understand.
Writes the minutes, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
And just
Thank
to give the zoning board some
And as you've probably seen, public input is important.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So just to give the board a little bit of additional information on that matter, the applicant did also
Yes, the appeal
submit a
stuff.
planning board application for site plan review of the storage facility. So they did so acknowledging that they do not have a special exception for the use. And they did state that very clearly to the planning board. So the planning board is reviewing a site plan review application. but is
For
also-
the propane.
For the propane, but is aware that there is not currently a special exception approved.
Okay.
Could you explain, for our benefit, why they didn't go to the planning board and use that vehicle to get the space they wanted? The applicant tonight?
I'm not sure. We did, mention the different options, and this was the one that he felt that he wanted to apply to. I'm not sure the reasoning why he picked this over the other options, but.
You're talking about the Wiggett family? with the-
Yeah,
The application that was turned down, yeah.
I mean, that sounded like a slam dunk with those other people.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Some of it could just be timing, and they might be looking for the quicker process.
I don't know, but I want to thank the members of the board, because people think that they can come down here and simply pick up a variance, and a variance is a very tough thing, it's tough criteria.
It is.
It's the emotional appeal thing. Yeah, this is reasonable.
I think it is reasonable.
Very reasonable.
But I do think the law,
It's the law.
and it was approved by the people in town.
The people in the town expect us to uphold the ordinance.
Yes.
And here,
If we just bow down, like, turn down it and just let anybody do whatever they want, then why have the rules?
well, I asked him the
Right.
question the first thing, because it's what I was thinking about when I read this at home.
I get
Is
it.
there any reason why he can't conform to the
There
regulation?
was none. That was,
There's no reason
that
he
was
can't
my
conform.
thought too. He
It
can
is-
still do this.
I still don't think, though, that 1,600 is unreasonable. I think that's a
No,
reasonable
I
size
think that's-
two-bedroom.
That's the problem.
That's
That's-
That's the problem. I
That's-
think
that's gotta
the
be-
$1,000 or the 1,000 square foot limitation is not,
Unreasonable.
it's just picked out of a hat.
Yeah.
If I'm,
Yeah.
but the thing is, it was
It's a pretty
voted out of
small
town.
space.
Well,
I
at the
know, I
time-
live in 1,000 square feet. It's a small house, you
It's
know?
a tiny house.
I think it is like
Well,
all
our
a
house is
progression
900
of,
square feet over in Maine, our vacation house, and we have 2 bedrooms in that house.
I don't know, but living there, like, it's a vacation home, you don't have as much stuff.
I'd love to live there.
Love to not have my stuff. Wouldn't we all? No, wouldn't we all?
So, totally off topic. So I gave Joseph the credit, but since you're doing the minutes, who did the departmentals? Was the police, fire?
He's asking you if you did that.
EV,
I think-
WSD?
I think you sent out for departmentals this year, but I wrote
But you do it a lot, too.
the COMI staff report and
Oh, you did,
of
okay.
the Mayhew one as well, but you did the Wiggett one.
Oh, well, for all of them, I love the addition.
That was a
I
great.
can't
Yeah.
say that, because that's always a question in my mind.
That's really nice.
But thank you for the staff reports for both of them.
Yeah.
They
Is that
were
part of the
all really
process that
helpful.
when these things are brought here, that somebody reaches out to those departments? Is that
Yep, yeah, we get.
something you do?
I haven't.
And they
I haven't
developed the
missed that on
staff
all
process.
of your overviews in the past.
And
have I?
Walter,
It's
they developed the
possible that
staff
we have-
reports
if
for
there's
us.
Oh,
nothing-
okay.
We
Right,
may
so
just
just
have
pass
not
them out.
included
They
it.
did one for each application. Right, you saw them.
We do try to get input
Oh,
on
on the
everything.
background notes, yeah. okay, yeah, yeah.
But often their input
They
is.
write those for
either they
us.
don't respond
Right,
or
right,
there's no comment. I mean, the highway department gets an email about this. They don't have any.
Yeah.
Right.
I just had never noticed it until this.
For it, gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
So pay attention to the staff reports, there's lots of good
I'd
information
point
in
out,
there.
since
They do the homework for us, so we
we're
don't have.
talking about staff reports,
Yeah.
some towns, the staff report includes a recommendation that deals with the application does not seem to meet the criteria.
Well, that's
Makes a
interesting.
statement like that. And sometimes if you tell the people, I don't see how this meets the criteria, and I'm gonna have to say that to the board, they'll rethink their process. Otherwise, I think they come here and they think they're just gonna, you know, get what they applied for. Like applying for a
Really,
license
the
to do
case was
something.
this evening. He thought this was just gonna be easy, and it was like, this is against the ordinance. I mean,
Yeah.
It's not the planning board can do things like that. They have flexibility on most
Right.
everything they do.
It's true. We really don't. If we vote no on any criteria, the application doesn't pass. Yeah.
it's really a judgment of.
In fact, I was at home and I was wondering, is this, 1,050 feet, 1,080 feet?
I was thinking the same thing.
You know-
I mean, a little squeaker, yeah, 600? Well, it was pretty clear when they didn't even state how big this, I mean, he just said it's a 4-car garage. Well, how big is this thing? There's a picture, this thing's big, which is fine. I mean, the whole concept
But he
is
can use those other 600 feet for whatever he wants to use them for.
storage, you just don't live in it.
We need one hell of a deck.
That's
what it's gonna end up being.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you, folks. I appreciate your attendance here tonight. And we'll, as soon as you know that the application comes in, send us all an email. It says it came in, so we are in fact meeting.
Oh, that's right.
Will do.
And would there be, if they, this recommendation, can they come with new information? I mean, new, or are they gonna rehash what they came in with before?
So they can try to persuade the board that they have additional information that could reasonably be expected to lead the board to a different decision, and the board's role will be not to determine if the decision was right or wrong, but just to determine if enough grounds are stated in the motion itself for the board to hold a new hearing, basically, and gather new facts, new testimony. So if the board made an error in fact, or that would be one of the things they would allege, or that there's some thing that the board neglected to review or see that could have led to a different outcome. Those are really the two areas that they will try to persuade in, typically, that someone would include in a motion for.
So during the meeting on the 11th, if we have it, we'll be looking at why we
Those minutes
declined,
that they
and
sent.
then, right, yeah, right.
And usually, I mean, a little more narrowly stated, we made a mistake in
Right.
applying the law, but we made a mistake in understanding the facts. Now, they usually try to go a lot further than that with what they have to say, and I got a feeling this fellow who showed up here tonight, he's gonna come here with a crowd that's gonna say, but you didn't consider what I had to say.
We don't have to open it to the public, though.
That is correct, but if you do decide to grant the rehearing,
Right,
then
grant
you
the
could
rehearing.
open up, and theoretically, the board can take public comments when deciding on the motion, but there's no noticed public hearing on a motion for a rehearing. And their grounds to Superior Court generally are only those stated in their written motion.
The abutters don't get notified there's gonna be a rehearing?
If the board decides to grant the rehearing, it would be.
But not for
The
the,
11th, not the
To
11th
decide
meeting.
whether to have it.
Right.
Got
But
it.
if the board does decide to grant one, it would be renoticed.
So the hearing, let's say we meet on the 11th, who's gonna be here? The board
That's it.
and,
I think the neighbors are gonna be here.
Yeah, they certainly have the right to attend.
On the 11th?
yeah.
They have the right
So
to.
they're gonna be noticed about that.
Public
No,
meeting.
there won't be
There won't be
notice, they
notice.
said. But one of them was here, and he's gonna tell them all.
No, we don't, so to post, just has to be posted as a public meeting. So we post everywhere that we can post so on the website, at town hall.
Not the purpose of the meeting even?
Well, we would say probably in the posting, public notice, the zoning board will hold a meeting on June 11th at 7 PM for the purpose of reviewing a motion for a rehearing. But it is distinctly under RSA not a public hearing on whether to grant the rehearing, though the rehearing itself must be a public hearing if the board chooses to grant it.
And that would occur at our July meeting.
Yes, it would,
Yep.
if the board decides to grant it.
Which would be July, what's the
so if
day?
neighbors do come on the 11th,
The 7th.
they're basically there to observe.
Unless,
I can let them speak.
You can let them speak?
I can say we allow the public to speak.
Yeah.
Sure,
we have the discretion of the board and the chair to
and I would. If people bother to come here,
Oh, yeah. You want them to make it worth their while.
they ought to have a right.
Yeah.
So that would be the 7th, is that not correct, of July?
correct.
Okay.
Oh, we've got a little time.
You know of
Meeting
anything else
again
that's happening on the
next
7th?
week.
You will be having a meeting.
On the 7th.
Pardon?
Of
You
July.
will in fact be having a
reference
meeting.
How do we know?
We have already received, I believe, 2 applications
Okay.
for
There's stuff coming. Okay.
tourist home special exceptions.
Oh my God, they're killing us with this at the
You knew that
planning
was
board.
gonna happen.
Yeah, this is what I said. I said, get ready.
Come up
Is-
with an ordinance.
Come up with an ordinance, because now we're getting killed.
That's, you tell them that Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, they've had
Please.
years.
Yeah.
Stop sitting
At
on the
least
pot.
3.
Yeah.
I'll say it for the record. Stop sitting on the pot and do your.
The last one, the chair said, well, we've got all this other stuff. that we're gonna-"
They have been doing some
that we're
really
gonna
important
propose.
work. They have,
Yeah,
right?
Not denying that, but this has been on the books and in the pipeline for
Yeah.
many years.
This is the hard part, though, is people are seeing something coming, and so they're nervous, so they're putting in applications with us now.
I personally am gonna separate out our appeal from the decision, and also our minutes from the meeting, so that we can review, I can review those. I would recommend you to people to do the same.
Do you have an extra copy of the minutes? I didn't have them.
Oh, they're over there.
I'll take an extra and go back over it. All right, thank you so much. I guess we're adjourned.
Right?